Hello snowboarders of the internet, I am your host TC and today I will be reviewing the Libtech LibRig. If you're interested in this board or any other boards or bindings I mentioned in this video, make sure you're going down in that description and clicking those affiliate links. That way you don't have to go search in the internet and hope you're getting the product that you're looking for. This board is equipped with Libtech's early rise directional camber profile. So what that means is pretty much from the bottom of this logo that says LibRig on back through the tail, you're gonna have that traditional camber, and then pretty much where this logo is up until the nose, you're gonna have rocker on it. So what that's gonna do for you is that camber zone is gonna give you all of that drive, pop, and stability that you're looking for, and that rocker zone in the nose is gonna give you all of that float and ease in entry in and out of turns. The LibRig comes in a few new sizes this year, so you're gonna get a 153, a 155, a 157, a 159, a 162, and a 160 wide. I rode this board at Arapahoe Basin where it was pretty much one of the flattest light days I've ever had. It was absolutely terrible lighting. I couldn't see anything throughout the day. As I made it down towards the bottom of the mountain, it got a little bit better, but it was still pretty bad. The snow was pretty good though, where it was that hero snow. You could really lay an edge into it and just trust that it was gonna hold for you, not be super icy, not be super soft, anything like that. And the trees were all right, I'll say, where they were pretty tracked out, and whatever fresh snow you could find in them was still a little firm. I wouldn't say it was totally crusty that you had to break through it, but it was definitely borderline. I used my Ride Fuse boots and my Jones Mercury phase bindings. When we're talking overall flex on this board, it is coming in at slightly stiffer than the middle of the road, but it does have a directional flex to it. Because you have a rocker zone in the nose and a stiffer tail back here because of the full camber, that's pretty much why it feels directional for you, where it does flex a little bit in between the feet, but it's definitely flexing the most in the nose there. Torsionally, it matches the overall flex of the board. And when we talk stability on this thing, it is nice and damp. It has that classic Mervin dampness to it where you're not getting a bunch of chatter coming from the nose or the tail, and it's not just acting super reactive against the snow. It actually felt really nice and stable. It pretty much mowed over everything in my path, but you know, it wasn't the most stable board out there by any means. There was still a little bit of wiggle room there, so it's not like you have to be totally on top of your A game with this thing. There is a little bit of built-in forgiveness with that rocker zone. When you load this board up to ollie, the first thing I noticed on it was I definitely had to put a little bit of extra work in the tail there. And that's just, you know, because it does have that directional flex to it. Had to load it up a little bit more. It wasn't like a crazy long load up where I'm like, okay, I see this thing like 20 feet ahead of me. I gotta start loading this tail up. It just took a little bit more time. Once you do that, it does have a really nice pop to it. I would say it's more of that organic flex than that super snappy flex. So when you do load it up, don't expect it to be instantaneous, just launch you in any different direction. It's gonna be a little bit more organic, a little bit more predictable than that. Make sure you like, subscribe, click that bell, and turn on those notifications so you don't miss any of our scheduled programming. Since it does have a directional flex to it, it does feel different buttering on the nose than it does on the tail. When you're buttering on the tail, that sweet spot feels like it's almost pretty much at that contact point where you really don't have a large one. You're pretty much doing more of a balancing act on it. Expect a little bit of pop out, but nothing too crazy. When you're buttering on the nose, you definitely have a bigger sweet spot because you have that rocker zone where it meets the camber. It's going to want to naturally have a hinge point there, and it's going to give you a little bit more surface area to work with. Don't expect as much of a pop out on the nose as there is on the tail, just because, you know, that directional flex. This board can really lay a trench behind it where it carves very hard. I will say it's not the fastest on those short, quick carves. It felt like there was a little bit of lag there, but as you get to those medium and those large carves, this is where this board really excels. The medium carves felt nice and smooth since it is damp. It really just cut down on a lot of that pretty much uneven snow in front of me. And on those large carves, it didn't really even have a speed limit. Like, it didn't matter what was in front of me because I couldn't see it or really feel it through how damp this board is, but it just trucked right through all of it. I didn't really have to worry about oh, is there a big mogul on there, or what's in front of me? I mean, I couldn't really tell because of the definition in the snow, but it didn't matter because this thing just crushed right through it. It is a very confident carving board, and it will Euro carve for you. I'd say don't dip it over as much as you possibly can because it's not the widest board out there, and if you're kind of maxing out the width on this thing, you might get some toe or heel drag going when you are Euro carving. Rider in mind. This board is made for that more of an advanced rider that really just wants to go everywhere. They're gonna focus most of their time on riding all mountain or free riding, but you know, if they happen to just stroll through the park and just wanna hit something with it, they definitely can. But as I mentioned before, they're definitely on that more advanced rider side. So if you're a beginner, this thing probably isn't gonna be for you. You're gonna have a tough time learning on this board. If you're looking for another way to get involved in the Angry Snowboarder community, head on over to Angry Snowboarder VIP. What is it, you might ask? Sure, I could explain it here, but we have a great video over there getting into it really in depth. I like this board. It could definitely be a daily driver for me. It pretty much checks all those boxes there where it's got a good amount of pop to it. It can carve through really any condition, and it's nice and damp. I will say that, you know, if you're looking for something a little bit more versatile, it might not be your board. If you want something that's gonna ride switch the exact same as it's gonna ride regular, might not be for you, but for what I like to do, this board did really well. It's got a sweet graphic this year too, so I mean, that's definitely a plus. But overall, this thing's solid. I see there being a little bit of overlap with this and some other boards in the LibTech line, but overall, I think this one kind of takes a cake for me over those other boards. Comparable boards, the Ride Moderator, the Nitro Alternator, and the Public Research. Recommended bindings, the Bent Metal Transfer, the Jones Mercury, and the Salomon Highlander. As always guys, I've been your host TC, and this has been my review of the LibTech LibRig. If this just doesn't sound like the board for you, or you just need to do a little bit more research, why don't you go check out one of the comparable boards, and that way you know you're making an informed decision.